What good has evil done throughout history? Dear viewer, the relationship between evil and positive change is a complex and often uncomfortable one. As poet Robert Burns wrote, "Man's inhumanity to man makes countless thousands mourn." How can something so destructive and harmful possibly lead to something good? Yet, history is filled with examples of how terrible man-made events have spurred societal shifts, leading to progress and reform. Let's now delve into this subject a little deeper. Holocaust and the birth of human rights. The Holocaust stands as one of the most horrific examples of human evil. The systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, along with 5 million non-Jewish victims, is a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty. Yet, like a phoenix rising from this atrocity, emerged a global commitment to human rights. And as such, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted by the United Nations in 1948, was a direct response to the horrors of World War II. It sought to ensure that such brutalities would never happen again, enshrining the principles of dignity, equality, and justice for all. The Holocaust also galvanized the creation of international institutions like the United Nations and the International Criminal Court, which aim to prevent genocide and hold perpetrators accountable. In this sense, the evil of the Holocaust became a crucible for the modern human rights movement, forging a world more attuned to the value of every individual. Viktor E. Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, explores in his book Man's Search for Meaning how individuals can find meaning even in the midst of unimaginable suffering. Slavery and the fight for freedom. The transatlantic slave trade was a dark chapter in human history, marked by unimaginable suffering and dehumanization. Yet, the evil of slavery also gave rise to some of the most powerful movements for justice and equality. The abolitionist movement, led by figures like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, and William Wilberforce, not only curtailed the legal institution of slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation, but also laid the groundwork for future human rights struggles. In the United States, the legacy of slavery and segregation fueled the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks drew inspiration from the resilience of those who had endured slavery, using their stories to demand equality and justice. Martin Luther King Jr. once stated, "The time is always right to do what is right." The infamous murder of Emmett Till sparked a wave of protests, boycotts, and sit-ins that ultimately led to significant legislative and social changes. The Montgomery bus boycott, led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., was a pivotal moment in this struggle, demonstrating the power of nonviolent resistance in the face of overwhelming oppression. In South Africa, the injustices and atrocities committed under apartheid rule sparked international condemnation and resistance. The anti-apartheid movement, led by figures such as Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu, ultimately contributed to the collapse of the apartheid regime and the establishment of democracy in South Africa. War and technological progress. War is often seen as the ultimate expression of human evil, a destructive force that leaves devastation in its wake. Yet history shows that wars have also been catalysts for technological and scientific advancements. World War II, for example, accelerated the development of penicillin, radar, jet engines, and nuclear energy. The Manhattan Project, which produced the first atomic bombs, also led to breakthroughs in nuclear medicine and large-scale energy production. Similarly, the Cold War spurred the space race, culminating in the 1969 Apollo 11 moon landing. While the motivations behind these advancements were often rooted in rage, conflict, and competition, their benefits have extended far beyond the battlefield, transforming fields like medicine, communication, and transportation. Solidarity and unity. Facing shared adversity can also foster a sense of solidarity within communities or nations. This can lead to increased cooperation and a stronger sense of collective purpose. For example, the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001 led to a surge of unity in the United States. Philosopher's lens, making sense of evil and progress. While history provides concrete examples of evil, sometimes leading to positive change, philosophy offers a deeper understanding of this paradoxical relationship. From theodicy to existentialism, thinkers have grappled with the role of evil within the human experience, offering insights that resonate across time and culture. Theodicy, evil as a path to greater good. The problem of evil has long been a central concern in philosophy and theology. If God is all-powerful and all-good, why does evil exist? This question has given rise to theodicy, the attempt to reconcile the existence of evil with a benevolent deity. One of the most influential theodicies comes from Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, who argued that we live in the best of all possible worlds. According to Leibniz, evil is a necessary part of a greater divine plan, contributing to a harmony that outweighs the suffering it causes. In this view, evil is like a discordant note in a symphony. It is unpleasant in isolation, but essential to the overall beauty of the composition. John Hick, a 20th century philosopher, offered a different perspective with his theodicy. Hick stated that evil and suffering are not mere obstacles to overcome, but opportunities for soul-making. Just as muscle must be strained to grow stronger, the human soul must confront adversity to develop virtues like courage, compassion, and resilience. In this sense, evil is not an obstacle to progress, but a means of achieving it. Hegel's dialectic, progress through conflict. Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel's dialectical philosophy provides another lens through which to view the relationship between evil and progress. Hegel argued that history unfolds through a process of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. In this model, progress occurs through the clash of opposing forces, with each conflict leading to a higher level of understanding and development. From this perspective, evil, or conflict, is not an aberration, but a necessary part of the historical process. The French Revolution, for example, was marked by violence and upheaval, but it also gave rise to modern notions of democracy and human rights. Existentialism, finding meaning in suffering. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus emphasized the individual's role in creating meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. In this framework, evil and suffering are not inherently meaningful, but they provide an opportunity for individuals to assert their freedom and define their values. The resistance to evil, whether through acts of courage or creativity, becomes a way of affirming one's humanity in the face of adversity. Nietzsche, transformative power of adversity. Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." Amor fati, Nietzsche's call to love one's fate, underscores the importance of embracing life's hardships as essential for personal development. This principle is realized in the Übermensch, an individual who not only accepts but actively utilizes life's challenges, including the experience of evil, to cultivate strength and inspire their own evolution. The shadow self. Dear viewer, the relationship between evil and positive change also raises questions about the nature of human psychology. According to Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, every individual has a shadow self, a part of our personality that contains the repressed, undesirable, or hidden aspects of ourselves. The shadow self can be a source of creativity, inspiration, and transformation, but it can also be a source of darkness, evil, and destruction. Jung argued that integrating the shadow self into our conscious personality is essential for individuation. This integration requires acknowledging and accepting our own darkness, rather than projecting it onto others. By doing so, we can transform our own evil tendencies into positive forces for change. Double-edged sword: critiques and limitations. While evil can sometimes lead to positive change, it is important to approach this idea with caution. The positive outcomes of evil are not inevitable, and they often come at an enormous cost. The Holocaust, for example, led to advancements in human rights, but no amount of progress can justify the suffering it caused. Moreover, the idea that evil serves a greater purpose can be dangerous if it leads to complacency or fatalism. It is not evil itself that brings about positive change, but the actions of individuals and communities who resist it and work toward justice. Philosopher Hannah Arendt observed that the real danger of evil lies in its ability to normalize wrongdoing. It is up to us to challenge this normalization and strive for a better world. Albert Einstein said, "The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it." From darkness to light. Dear viewer, let us embrace the paradox of progress, recognizing that even in the depth of darkness, the seeds of positive transformation can take root. With each act of courage, each voice raised against injustice, we contribute to a collective awakening, a gradual but undeniable shift towards a world where the inherent dignity of every human being is honored and protected. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr. and Theodore Parker, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." The lessons etched in our collective memory serve as a powerful catalyst, urging us to build bridges of understanding, dismantle the walls of prejudice, and cultivate a garden of compassion where empathy blooms and justice flourishes. Though the journey through evil may be long and arduous, the promise of a more harmonious world remains a beacon of hope, guiding us towards a future where the light of humanity shines ever brighter. Albert Camus said, "In the midst of winter, I found there was, within me, an invincible summer." Please, dear viewer, let us head towards summer together.